This is the story of Jephthah the Gileadite. It starts in Judges chapter 11, or actually it starts already before that, because we're told already in chapter 10 that the Israelites were in a crisis. The Ammonites wanted to make war with Israel and they panic because they apparently can't find anyone to lead them to war, to be their boss, their leader. They need a hero and they need it fast. So chapter 11 is so promising because it starts by saying, now, Jephthah the Gileadite was a mighty warrior. It's like perfect. Like, could it get any better than that? Like, exactly what they needed. A mighty warrior. Perfect. Just, it doesn't say just that. Actually, the verse says that Jephthah the Gileadite, the son of a prostitute, was a mighty warrior. Oh, his mom is a prostitute. Guys, that's not the best beginning for a story. That means it's going to get complicated. So, immediately we're told how Jephthah's half-brothers drive him out of the land because of his mom. They say, "You shall not inherit anything in our father's house, for you are the son of another woman." Great. Did they have the right to do that, the brothers? I mean, sure, he has a different mother, maybe even a non-Israelite mother, a prostitute, but he was still the son of the same father. He still had the right to inherit, but oh well, Jephthah escapes. He goes and lives in the land of Tob. Verse 3 says that outlaws gathered around him. In Hebrew, empty men. Why empty? Not sure. Maybe they didn't have anything to do. Maybe they were morally empty. In any case, that's Jephthah's new group. That's his army. That's his gang. But then we return to the present. And you know, there's the crisis, the Ammonites. And the Gileadites, they get an idea. Apparently there really is no one to lead them to the battle because they come up with Jephthah. Jephthah, the son of a prostitute who doesn't even live in Israel and who hangs out with empty men, that's the Gileadites' idea of a hero. All right, so they go and ask him if he could lead them to war. Jephthah's answer is, I think, pretty understandable. He says, "Are you not the very ones who rejected me and drove me out of my father's house? So why do you come to me now when you are in trouble?" Good point. So the Gileadites, they go a bit further and they say, "You know, we're sorry, please come and we'll make you the head over us and over all the inhabitants of Gilead." That means they're ready to make him their leader. Not just in war, but in general, like a king. So Jephthah says, "I don't know." And they're like, "Come on." And so he says, "Okay." And he goes to be their leader. And the funny thing is, he really does a good job. Like, the first thing he does, he contacts the king of the Ammonites and he starts a negotiation, like a diplomatic negotiation. And he does it really, really well. Like, who would have thought? Jephthah, the son of a prostitute, he's turning out to be a bit of a politician. He uses all kinds of arguments and tries to get the king of the Ammonites to let go of the idea of war. He talks about their god. Strictly speaking, he talks about the Moabite god, but perhaps he was considered a god also in Ammon. We grant him that. He puts pressure on the king, just enough, and he asks, if this is so important to you, why didn't you mention this before? And his greatest argument is his excellent knowledge of Israelite history. See, the Ammonite king claims that the Gileadite land belongs to him because the Israelites have taken it from them. But that's not true. And Jephthah tells him exactly that. He uses every historical and geographical detail to explain that that's not how it went. The Israelites especially did not fight against Moab or Ammon. It was the Amorites that fought against Israel and through that lost their land. And the cool thing is, all of his details are correct. Like, he knows every detail about the Israelite history. And I have to say, he is really, really convincing. How cool! Like who would have thought? Jephthah, what a great diplomat. So I'm starting to think, hey, this is good. He's doing a great job. Like, this is great. He's exactly the kind of leader which the Israelites needed all along. I'm impressed. And all the more as we read in verse 29 that the Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah. I mean, that's awesome. I'm not sure if Jephthah is what God would have chosen as a leader, if he would have gotten the chance in the story to say something, but at least he seems to go along with it. So that's awesome. I mean, what could go wrong? Until we come to verse 30, and suddenly we get the feeling that Jephthah, he's unsure. Like, I don't know, doesn't he know that God is with him? Like, it was just said that the Spirit of the Lord is with him. And then he feels the need to make a vow. Like, why? What does he think he will accomplish with a vow? Like, does he think he can manipulate God? It's like he's using his politics to influence God. Like, if you do this, then I will do that. Crazy. I mean, God was already with him. I mean, why would he need a vow? Weird. But even weirder is his vow. If you will give the Ammonites into my hand, then whoever comes out of the doors of my house to meet me, when I return victorious from the Ammonites, shall be the Lord's, to be offered up by me as a burnt offering. What? Shall be burned as a burnt offering? What is this? Why, Jephthah? I mean, doesn't he know? I mean, just before he knew all the historical and geographical details of Israel, but he doesn't know this? The Lord doesn't want a human sacrifice. Like, we have multiple texts where God says he hates human sacrifices and that they disgust him. So why would Jephthah go and say something like that? Doesn't he know God? Doesn't he know what God is like? I guess not. And so he goes home after winning the war, and out of his door comes his daughter. Terrible story, but so it goes. And the daughter hears about the vow and she submits. She says, okay, so it will be done. She just wants some time to mourn her life which never really began, and she dies. Was that God's will? Absolutely not. It was Jephthah's crazy vow that just ruined everything. And how outrageous is the reaction of Jephthah as he sees his daughter coming out of the door of his house. He says, "Alas, my daughter, you have brought me very low. You have become the cause of great trouble to me." Like, what? How is he the victim here? I mean, it's his daughter who needs to die, but this self-centered, incredibly egoistic man is blaming her for his own stupidity. I mean, unbelievable. Jephthah was the best man they had. Jephthah was their best option to be a king. Although Jephthah, he started well, you know. He was a mighty warrior. He was a politician. He was a good speaker. He was a good leader. Even the Spirit of the Lord was with him. And he knew so much. He knew every detail of the Israelite history, every detail that there was to know. But he didn't know God. He knew everything else. He knew everything. But he didn't know God.